Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have unfiltered, uncensored, uncomfortable conversation.
All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. I would say let me introduce the panel, but the whole panel ain't even here yet. All right, so let me introduce Maya. I got Maya to my right.
Hi, y'all.
See, I was close. All right. So let's go ahead and start it like we always do. Did you watch anything, Ben, before I even ask? I gotta ask now because I gotta prep myself to ask because I don't know what your situation on A's be, so I gotta ask.
That's true. Not this week. I've been recovering this week.
Recovering from what?
Yeah, them folks had me judging that competition on.
Yes, absolutely. And I think she froze.
Oh wait, I thought she froze. Okay.
Anyway, you back. But yeah, the competition. Let me quickly say something about that, and then you can kind of go into that just a little bit. But I made sure that I ran that commercial the last time. Well, maybe I'll run it probably the next couple of shows because the last one is in November. So if you all are out there, the last one is in November. Check that out. From what I've been hearing so far, the last three have been like super dope. Congratulations to all the winners, all who participated. We want to keep this thing up, but go ahead and fill us in, man. What happened? I didn't get a chance to make it out there, so fill us in. What went down?
It was just a good time. It was just more so. Yes, it was hot. So I guess I didn't realize how hot it was until we had, some people just was exhausted from the heat. It was definitely hot outside, but everybody did a really, really good job. It was a good time, nice and fun, nice and airy. But child, some of them folks put me to work, especially when they had two things going on at one time, and I was just like this, like trying to get as much as I could, trying to take in as much as I could. But it was really, really fun. It was a good experience. I've judged competitions in the past, but to judge it in this manner, it was appeasing for me, but it was also, I can see the benefit in it, definitely. And I think that more people should kind of catch on to that style of judging. It's definitely useful and definitely going to help move the culture forward. So I was definitely excited to be a part for sure.
That's dope. Let me ask you this, since I didn't make it. What was it different from the first one that we went to, and if so, in what ways?
Yes, because there are more people. Hey, girl. Yes, because there are more bands, but I think it was just more so. I don't know if the energy was different. I don't know if it was just. It just seemed a little bit. It seems more progressive, I guess I could say. I'm not really sure how to phrase it, but it just seemed like, how you kind of get a gist for things. You're like, okay, this is working out the kinks. This works best. It just felt a little bit more free flowing and just a lot more lighthearted, I guess. Or maybe it was just me, but I just had a good time.
Growth.
We're literally that.
That's there you go. It's a little bit more growth. So
Fair. I like
yeah,
it.
I had planned on coming out there, and then a lot of things happened, man. I'm telling you, it's really weird how I plan on a lot of things, and then it just some things happen and get in the way. One of which it was homecoming, and I know Portia had a time because I've been looking at pictures. I done seen some ghosts pop out of nowhere.
Woo!
Homecoming.
It was a movie, okay?
Wow.
Ooh.
And I know you trying your best not to rub it in, but I mean, if you do a little rubbing, I won't be upset because I know I missed a good one. I know I missed a good one.
It was crazy out there. I think the numbers came in at like 89,000. It was crazy. But a lot of the chapters of the Greek orgs at Norfolk State were chartered in 1962 in various times and dates. So it was a lot of anniversaries. So it was just a time. Homecoming 1, Portia 0. Okay, down for the count. It took me out, I'm telling you. And then the next day, they dedicated a street to Missy in Portsmouth, and we had to do that event. So right off of homecoming, it was, whoo! But man, you were missed because we had a time. Oh my goodness, it was nuts. Like, I think it was the combination of all of the anniversaries, but this is like the real first homecoming. We're not out of COVID, but like post-COVID restrictions and stuff. And it was people. But what's crazy is that I keep seeing people say we need a do-over because there's so many people I did not see. And that is real. Like, in that massive amount of people, I missed so many people. But it was just good to be on the yard again, to interact. I did get to see Rick. It was just family, and that I needed that. Yeah, you missed a good one. I'm not trying to rub it in, but we had a time. It was a time to be had, and we had it.
No, I don't take it as a rub in at all.
So it was all in all a great weekend. Much needed. I'm ready for next year. Yeah, I'm still recovering too. Whoever that is, okay, took me out. Okay, struggle bus. I'm old. Okay, I took Monday off, but we had an event to do, so I didn't really get to rest. But yeah.
So only a few people know, and Portia is one of them, why I had to decline my appearance at homecoming. So much so that after seeing the amazing pictures and all of those things that have popped up on my feed and my timeline and videos and Instagram snaps, and like I said, ghosts coming up out of nowhere that I haven't seen since
people you ain't seen in years.
My wife has already started planning. I think she said yesterday for next year, so that the situation that we had this time does not come up again. So I hate that I missed it. I was so looking forward to it. I had been setting everything for it. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm not gonna cry over no spilled milk. I've gotten some feedback. I talked to Rick, so Rick kind of let me know some of the things that went down and some of the things that he saw and some of the people he saw. So yeah, I hate that I missed it, but always behold, it's always love. Let's talk about a couple of things. This band thing. Let's bring my brother Quan in right quick. But I definitely did see some bands this past weekend. If I'm not mistaken, and somebody correct me out there if I'm wrong. I know that I did see, I think it was Southern and Alcorn. And speaking of Alcorn, I have to tell this story really quickly because it was something that happened to me, and I was so shocked at the fact that it happened to me. So I essentially come from, I guess, a musical family. My mom played an instrument, my brother played an instrument, my dad played an instrument. I don't really know about other sides of my family, right? And so it just so happens that I think this week is Alcorn's homecoming, I believe, and Mississippi Valley's homecoming, I believe. So I'm going down my timeline, and my cousin posts up pictures of her in Alcorn and the Sounds of Dynamite. And I'm like, wait a minute, because I'm thinking I'm the only black sheep who actually marched in the college band. Come to find out, my cousin marched for Alcorn and Mississippi Valley. So I have another person in my family who is not like me. I mean, who is like me, who has marched in a university band program. So shout out to my cousin Ashley and her husband, who played mellophone in Mississippi Valley's band, and he's an alpha. So shout out to both of them. It's really good to know that I'm not the only one. But yeah, so Southern Alcorn played this past weekend. That's the only one that I know for a fact that I watched. I think South Carolina State, I think they had their homecoming. I think it was Champagne's, what was it, 40th, 50th, I think somewhere around there. So I did watch them. As it pertains to Southern and Alcorn, in my personal opinion, I'm gonna just say this is no shot to anybody, please. I really am not trying to put anybody down. But I will say this, and I will say this one thing. When I close my eyes, I can't tell who's who. And that's kind of where that's really the only thing that I have to say about them, because essentially neither one of them were like terrible and neither one of them were bad. I mean, I don't think either one of them did a bad job or anything like that. I just feel like, and it was one of the things that my cousin's husband, well, I guess he would essentially be my cousin, said to me when I was conversing with them. It was on the strength of, because PV played Alcorn in 2015, and that was that infamous reigning fifth quarter that I enjoyed so much. But one of the things that he said was that Alcorn has been struggling to find their identity and who they are. And I found that very interesting for him to say that, because of the fact that I just feel like, you know, a lot of bands, not just Alcorn, but a lot of bands are going for the same sound. And so, you know, that's the only thing that I pulled from it. Like I said, I didn't think that either one was terrible or anything like that. I just kind of felt like I just wanted to hear something different, you know, as far as the approach to music. But I will say this, give a shout out one time to Alcorn. They played Power Rangers. Look at here. They played Power Rangers, and it wasn't the fact that they played Power Rangers that I was hype about. It was the fact that they played something that's just different. That is me. At the end of the day, I say this all the time. Anybody who knows me, I was the guy who was probably going to write something that was kind of left field, out of the box, something that's not expected. And when I heard them play Power Rangers, because it's a lot of people who are hating on the fact that they played Power Rangers. I didn't hate on them. I appreciated the fact that they actually decided to play something different. And I think that that's what bothers me in the totality when we start talking about fifth quarter and all that kind of stuff. People are like, well, you shouldn't play that in the fifth. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some songs you shouldn't play in the fifth. But for me, if it's something that is different and it's out of the box and it shows, you know, something different about you, then I welcome it. I mean, hey, shout out to them for the Power Ranger daddy. That's all I'm gonna say is, hey, Power Rangers, that's all my thing. I'm good. So that's where I'm at with that. All right. Besides homecoming, Portia, anything else that you noticed or saw, man?
Because that thing beat me down.
Yeah,
I'm still recovering. I normally spend like Monday and Tuesday like watching other bands. Not this week. So no, I'm behind.
All right, Smith's daddy. But no, I mean, it's not a Smith's on you, because you know you was seeing double for like 2 days. But how was and because I know I watched it, but how was the Missy performance, meeting Missy and conversing with her and all that kind of stuff?
I didn't do none of that. The kids did, not necessarily me. I got this hat on because right when the Legion started to march in, it started to rain. So they literally did. I can't stand the rain in the rain. Yeah, it started raining, but of course we're still gonna perform. They had done her mix, and then she actually drove around and they did it again, like right in front of her, while she was in her car. So that was a dope experience. It was crazy out there. It was a lot of bands, a lot of high school. Elizabeth City was out there, Hampton was out there. But when we walked in, it was kind of like, oh my God. So
we have arrived.
Yeah. And then so after that, coupled with the rain, the crowd kind of got unruly. So I was part security, part coordinator. It got a little nuts out there, but all in all, I think the kids had a great experience. It was dope to perform for her. She's been shouting us out, made it to the shade room, so it was all in all a good day, but it was nuts out there.
Okay. Yeah. I saw Miss Sanders post up. I can't stand the rain in the rain. I saw
like the sun had been out the entire time we were out there. And soon as the Legion hits the track, them dark clouds rolled in and it started raining. But it rained hard for a little bit, then it kind of slowed up. But we were marching back to the bus, and we gonna go in stride, in cadence, and the sky opened up. And so that's why I got this hat on, because that same hair. I ain't done nothing to it. When I got in this house, I snatched this.
You got that juicy head. All right, I got you.
And put it on the stand. It's all raggedy. But,
oh Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then Maya, this week is PV Homecoming? Or is that next week?
Next week. It's the week we play Howard.
Yes. Because I was about to say it's tight. I ain't gonna make it.
Next week.
Good. Yes. All right. If my wife is watching, we got a chance. We got a chance. Because we gotta because I had to cancel because we had some Friday coming up, but it's all right. We good. All right, we on the right path. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. I don't know where Quan is. He might be eating or taking a poop or something. But when we come back, when he comes back,
it is Southern's homecoming. I also think it's Jackson's homecoming this week too.
Yeah. No, wait. Is Southern and Jackson's homecoming this week?
Mm-hmm.
Who's playing in the boombox this week? Or is that next week?
Can't be this week.
That's what I thought.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. We'll somebody's gonna put it. Somebody put it in the chat. Yeah.
It can't be this week if it's both day homecoming.
That's what I was trying to figure out. If it's Southern's homecoming and it's
I know it's Jackson's homecoming because Miss Sanders been posting. Don't know it's next week.
Right.
Okay.
Next week. All right. Cool. All right. So we good. All right, man. Well, let's go ahead and get this thing started, man. Told you he was eating. See, he came back on chewing. But on both sides. All right, man. All right, man. Let's go ahead and do this. Unless Quan, you got any band stuff you want to get into before you good? All right, good. You want to stand back on that?
I just want to say I ain't see Justin. So did you not make it? Because if you did, we had a time.
So Justin,
not here.
So look here. Let me tell you this, Portia. See, I was gonna move on, but I wanted to say this. I was looking for every video that I saw. I was looking for Justin in it. I was like, "Yo, Justin got to be here. He getting that MD Thursday. He gonna get that quality joint." I look at this. I look at the Southern and Alcorn joint. Justin right in front of them, right square. And I'm like, Justin, that's phony, man. That's phony. At least I had enough gumption to tell Portia I wasn't gonna make it. You hit her with the Smiths, daddy.
And Rick, he talking about it's Justin out here. I said I don't see Justin. I was looking for Justin MD Thursday. I was looking for Justin Friday. I was looking for Justin Saturday. And I said, oh, he decided not to come, but that's all right because you missed a time.
I knew it. I knew I wasn't tripping. I knew that was part of the conversation that Justin was going to be. And he talked bad about me when I said I wasn't going to be there.
Look, that's why he ain't responded in the chat because he know he's wrong.
Nothing.
He know he's wrong.
Nothing.
It's his loss. When I tell you we had a time, One for the books. Legendary.
Typical Southern nigga. No. I'm playing, bro.
Yeah, see what had happened.
I don't want to. No, ain't no wait. Nah, see what had happened was no, absolutely not. Because you was at another person's game. That's what had happened.
Right.
You said you wanted to go see the crank up. You wasn't trying to go to no homecoming. That's what it was. That's what it was. No, I get it. No, I understand. At least, like I said, at least I admit that I wasn't gonna make it. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get this thing started, man. We got a heck of a topic today. I'm gonna tell you I ain't gonna tell you where it stems from off top, but I do want to have this conversation because I think it needs to be had. I think we've kind of teeter-tottered on this conversation, but I don't think we've dug deep into it, man. So I really want to get into this. So let's just start it from the top, man. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash the like daddy as soon as you come into the room. Go ahead and smash it early, so I ain't got to tell you later on to do it. All right, I don't even care if you give me a thumbs down. It's all right, man. It's all good. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passioneers Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. All right. Before I get into this, man, I just want to say the NBA season has started. I'm just going to tell y'all right now, I am not a super NFL fan, but when that NBA season starts, I am right there front and center. So if y'all see me looking this way, it's because I'm watching the game. All right. But I am listening, but I'm watching the game. I'm just letting y'all know it's nothing personal. All right. So anyway, let me get into this, man. So it's been some things that I've been thinking about. It's some things that I've been watching that kind of led to this. And like I said, I'll tell you later. But one of the things that I know that we've kind of teeter-tottered on, and I know Quanda spoke heavily about, I know I've spoken about before, is really talking about resources as it pertains to band programs, resources as it pertains to urban education, urban band programs, low socioeconomic band programs, versus the counterparts. And so I wanted to have that conversation today, man. So this is going to be we're probably going to go a little deep. We probably going to get a little, I was about to say frisky, but that is not the word that I'm looking for at all. But we're probably going to really get into this, man. So let's go ahead and start off from the top and where I want to start from. Here's the first question. Do resources determine the level of success? Do resources determine the level of success? I usually start to my right, but I'm gonna start down at the bottom. Miss Portia, you go first.
I just don't even understand why you would start with me. No. That's a double-edged sword. I mean, can it limit or hinder success? Yes, but there's sometimes instances where people are holding it together with gum and shoestring and finding ways to make it work. So having more would increase the chances of success and probably make it easier on the staff. But then there are some instances where people are still finding ways to be successful. I don't know. Because there are some programs you look at them and you say, how in the world are you making it? I look at Norfolk sometimes and be like, how in the are we making it? And that's just real talk. It's gotten better here in these last 2 years, but it was some rough years. After the Dr. Sanford, after, Mr. Adams, it was some years that I was like, Lord Jesus. But they and Miss Sanders are some miracle workers, So it just depends. It can determine, the level of resources, but sometimes people find ways to rob Peter and pay Paul and still have, success to the outside. Now, internally, it could be crumbling from the inside, but that's not always projected. But I do think that having resources makes it easier on everybody.
All right. Quan, do resources determine the level of success?
Well, that all depends on what's your definition of success. That's number
Damn
one.
it, you stole my opener. Shit.
My bad. Green people thinking like, my bad. But I mean, it's your definition of success, because I've taught in urban settings, and getting a student a scholarship to a respected university, some would say that's success, which we believe that is. But then some may say, well, UAL sweepstakes is success, and that's another level. Some may say having students, affording the students with the opportunity to be able to participate in state ensembles, so forth and so on. That's success. So first of all, you have to define your definition or your standard of success. That's number one. And then two, I do believe that a lack of resources will hinder your glass ceiling, if we're going to be honest. So in the state of Texas, we know for a fact that UIL reigns supreme in regards to marching. Now, not saying that you have to have props, but let's be clear. If props can enhance the show, and you have some programs that are paying, $5,000 just for props alone for that one particular thing, that may enhance the show. That's a resource, right? I myself, I'm not afforded the luxury of having private teachers. I know if I had private teachers, that could enhance the band program. So it's just things like that, that can overall like help you as a band director, as a dance coordinator, whatever. Think about some of those dance auxiliary programs that, like I say, only have one outfit, and that outfit may be old. So when you look at resources, I believe resources not just from a fiduciary aspect, but it's also resources of knowledge, resources of opportunity as well. So when you look at the totality of it, a lack of resource can hinder your program, but you have to define what's your success. Because if we're going to be honest, and I hate to say this, but this is the truth. When you look at some of our situations coming out from low socio schools, we look at success as, did we build that student up for the everyday real life? Number one. Did we give them an opportunity towards education? And overall, did we ensure that that student walked across that stage? That's success. Because some of the situations and scenarios of us being a state player doesn't matter to some of our kids. It doesn't. Not saying that they don't have the capability, but it just doesn't, So it just depends, bro. Just depends.
All right. Maya?
I mean, of course, I agree with what all has been said. You just really have to figure out what success means to you, right? So if we kept a kid from staying off the streets or being able to do some productive with themselves, then yeah, that's successful in and of its own right. But I do think that also with limited resources, things are a lot harder. So just like Portia was saying, it can hinder performance or it can hinder success. But again, you have to figure out what that is. Now, I do know that, of course, more resources, more, whether that's bodies, whether that's money, of course, it can help things become a whole hell of a lot easier. It can definitely make recruitment a lot easier if you have the resources to be able to travel, to be able to be a part of different things that are just outside of Hempstead, Texas, or what have you. Then, of course, yeah, that can definitely add into the level of success or development that a program sees. But does it actually determine? I think that determination is based on the vision, right? Of what does this particular person see for their program, or even still just every year was better than the last, or we did something to help somebody achieve something that can be considered successful as well. So I think it's yes and no, depending on which side of the definition of success we're talking about and what that means for a particular program.
And so I like the idea of what you guys, both you and Quan, stated, just talking about defining what success means to you, right? But then also going back and looking at the question, once you define it, that still begs the question of that level of success, basically. And so will your resources determine your ceiling, right? So depending on what your resources are, does that determine where that success can reach and may exceed or may not exceed depending on your resources? Any thoughts on that?
I think so. Go ahead, Carl.
No. So like even to Professor Young's like point, he said that nowhere on the judge's sheet do you have to have props. I agree, but if we're just going to be honest and go through the data, and we can, there's not a lot of traditional bands that are making superior ratings in the state of Texas, right? Not saying that none hasn't, but those bands had to have a different sense of, I do agree with them, leadership and vision, right? But that's still another sense of resources, though. So, for example, I know Cedar Hill, they made superior, but they had a staff. And Prof. Young, correct me if I'm wrong. Some of these schools in the district that I teach in, you'll be lucky if you got a percussion instructor that's on staff. You will be lucky if you have an assistant band director. You will be lucky, real talk. Let's speak about resource from a deeper level. You'll be lucky, real talk, if you got band classes. Isn't that a resource too? You'll be lucky if you have workable instruments. I mean, it's like we could go real deep with this question, but all of that determines your success. Just bottom line. Because if you don't have two nickels to rub together, how do you expect to maintain a band program or a dance team or whatnot? That's impossible, bro. And we're just speaking about finances, but from a body aspect, that's why a lot of band directors end up getting burned the hell out, because it's just them. So it just depends, man.
I mean, I feel you. I agree with that, because my mind went two places, right? So one, yeah, tone, balance, and blend dynamics, it doesn't cost anything. But I remember when my sister worked at Carter, right? I believe it was Carter. It was one of these bands in Dallas. I walked into the band room, and the whole side of the baritone, it looked like a Liberty Bell, because the crack was so big, like it was literally missing a portion. Like I could put my hand and to round out the bell of the damn baritone, but that's all they had. You know what I'm saying? So or when I play piano, right? So let's say that we weren't able to, for whatever reason, tune the pianos or what have you, right? So now the sound is off. So now I'm developing my ear, but it's flat, or because what I'm utilizing, the resource or the thing that I'm utilizing, is not properly equipped to be able to help me be successful and me becoming the best person or best pianist that I could possibly have been. Then also a conversation I was having this past weekend. If you don't have a particular coordinator or director or what have you, there was a group that did not have a director. And I didn't know that until I was having an actual conversation after the fact. But when I was looking at it, I was saying, something isn't right here. But now it makes sense, because you don't have a proper resource to be able to put in front of this unit or this program to be able to lead them and direct them to so that they can fulfill their best selves, or fulfill the work that they're trying to do for this particular dance or display of artistry, whatever that may be. So I think that, yeah, in that sense, yeah, that could level off how great these folks could potentially have access to, or how much knowledge they're going to gain, because you don't really have anybody to give it to them in the first place.
Let's take it a step further, Luke. Resources of mentorship. Like, everybody on this show, we've blessed each other with some form of knowledge of, of some sort. How about if you don't, if you're in the area where, prime example, I'm using this for example, what if your entire district is nothing but core style, and then you decide, hey, but I want to do this traditional thing, but nobody wants to help you. Not saying that you can't get help, but if you're just in that area, that's a lack of resources too from other band directors to help you. Not saying that we're not saying that it can't be done, but there's a certain ceiling that you're going to hit until you get those resources, get those mentors to help you fulfill your vision for what you have for your band program. Resources is basically, again, a resource is basically an avenue or a gateway to gain knowledge, finances, whatever the case may be. So my thing is, a lack of resources is just basically like a lack of knowledge, and people perish for lack of knowledge. So I just look at it, you're going to hit a ceiling of some sort, in my opinion, with the lack of resources.
Okay. Interesting. All right. We're gonna dig a little bit deeper, as Maya and Quan like to say. So I'm gonna move to the next topic, but the next topic directly relates to this topic. So welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Smash that like button. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, and subscribe to the Passionist Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasting networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. All right, so in conjunction with the question that was just asked, so you all were talking about defining what your level of success or what success looks like to you, right? So let me ask you this question. Have we settled for what is instead of fighting for what should be? Have we settled for what is instead of fighting for what should be? Let's start with last time.
Portia.
All right, Maya. She thinking about it. Quan, are you good? Oh, because you was biting your nail. I was like, oh, she heavy in thought.
I'm in deep thought. Like, now, what you mean by this here? I'm thoroughly confused. I mean, I get you, but also I'm very, far-fetched from the situation because I'm not hands-on or present. So I feel like I'm not really sure where I want to go with this answer. Quan, you got it if you got some.
All right, Quan.
Could you elaborate a little more for what is?
So basically, this is what I'm saying, right? And this is just an example. This is not directly what I'm talking about. You all can kind of use this example and go where you want to, right? So we talk about Texas standards, UIL, blah, 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 blah. And then you said, Quan, my idea of success is just getting the kids in and being able to make sure that they walk across that stage. Whereas the state of Texas UIL says if they're in this band program, there's a certain level of things that they are supposed to be able to do per the TEES, right? That's what should be. But we look at what is and we settle for that because that's all we have in front of us, blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? Does that make more sense?
Yeah, it does.
So have we settled for what is instead of fighting for what should be?
I don't. So as an individual, I fight for both. I fight for what should be while still understanding the reality and area that I teach at, in particular. Because here's the bottom line truth. If my student or my parent has to make a decision between band dues and feminine products, what you think they're gonna choose? You feel what I'm saying? Like, if they have to make a decision between buying a band shirt or feeding their siblings at night, what you think they're gonna choose? Now, because here's the grave thing about life. You have a perception and you have your reality, and we have ours. As band directors that teach in, we just gonna put it out there, in the hood or low socio or urban areas, there's a certain reality that we deal with on a daily basis, that we're trying to educate and transmogrify these students to let them know that the world is bigger than just this area and neighborhood. However, a person in an affluent area will never relate nor understand what people in the hood go through. So while they're looking at it as, well, why they don't know this or why they don't know that, some of that is they like the environment is not conducive to some of those things. You have some schools that have a turnover rate every year of a band director. And if you think I'm lying, do this if you want. In the state of Texas, there's something called SBAC that you can look up a person's certificate, whatever. There's a whole bunch of internship certificates that they give out to these urban schools to teach band or teach music. You're not about to see that in an affluent neighborhood because they understand the importance of continuity and consistency. That's not so the same in all urban settings. Some of them, they just want a filler. But to stay on topic, I fight for what's right. I want them to go to state as well as being cognizant of their financial situation. I want them to have to participate in all city band, all region. I want my band to transition to all areas, so forth and so on, according to the state, because you got to let our kids know it doesn't matter the environment. We want you to get better. But some things does hinder us. A lack of resources at times can hinder you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference if you have a person on your team or you have a staff, and then that person's the drill writer, and then that person's the arranger. And then as a head band director, I can facilitate all of these things to make sure we have a successful program. But then it's a difference when it's just you. When you got to write the drill, you have to arrange the music if you need to, as well as they give you a class load of music appreciation courses. You don't have a feeder program. That's your reality. But you still can fight for what is right. So,
Okay. Portia, I think Maya's still thinking.
I don't know that we've settled. Maybe we have. I think more of the thought process is, if they give us something, we're happy. Maybe it is settling. I'm gonna go ahead and play that card. Maybe it is settling. This is a tough one.
at what level, Portia? I'm gonna just kind of add to your question. At what level do you feel like we've settled? At the collegiate level? Because I know you're on that level. Or do you feel like the secondary level we've settled more so?
Both.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and maybe I'm putting too much into Portia's thought process now, but I think Portia's going from both levels. But I also think Portia may be talking about culturally too.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I figured that's that's where.
Yeah, we just kind of like, I think, and I'm saying this now that I'm thinking through it. Even my statement earlier, it was some years I felt like they were working miracles. Hell, we still working the miracles. If you think, that's why when I look at, what we bring to the university, we're not getting our just due, but we don't want to say that. We don't want to. The football team didn't win, but the band shows up and does what they're supposed to do on a normal basis. But what do we get from that? We went out there with Norfolk State across our chest and performed for Missy Elliott for the free. But it's notoriety. Notoriety is not taking us on trips. Notoriety is not providing us with the resources that we need to do the things that we need to do. So I think we are settling. And I think part of that now is, oh, if it gets us likes, that's helpful. If it brings us views, that's helpful. But they ain't doing nothing for the bank account. So in a way, now that I think about it, we are settling for what we're getting, because what we're getting is better than what we had. But is it what we're just due? Is it what we need to actually do this at the top level? No. And that's on the collegiate level as well as the secondary level. I saw how proud those kids were to have on those band shirts and do all of that. But imagine how it would be if somebody took the time to invest a little bit more in them. How would that elevate them? How would that allow them to see that this is giving me more of an opportunity and I should keep going even when this is hard? So I think we are settling. And because but part of that is because we've found ways to make it work, people aren't willing as willing to listen to us. People tend to not really want to hear nothing until it's falling apart. But we shouldn't have to finagle stuff. But you still want us to show up and participate and put on a show like we have what we need when we don't. We are settling.
I'll go ahead, go on.
Now I'm about to say, damn, like how can you, damn, that needs some like solemn music right now.
Right? Everybody like, dang. I started laughing because we still haven't heard from Maya. And then Maya, as soon as she turned her mic on, how you expect me to follow that?
Precisely. Exactamundo. What you think what am I supposed to say? The mic has already been dropped. Lord Jesus, y'all keep trying to play me.
No, I try to put you first. You passed the buck, so you can't be upset.
You're right.
Yeah, see, that was OU. That was OU. No, I and I don't want to take this thing like so far left, but it's unfortunate that sometimes I be wanting to, because I feel like as a culture we be settling too. Like we settle for the things that people give us. Is like, I'm sorry, I gotta go off the beaten path for a second and get off band for like 3 seconds, because as Portia was talking and as she was saying these things, it just reminded me of a conversation in which I've had with my wife, which is like, I just remember a time when I was younger when the FCC would like, filter certain things, but like now it's just not filtered anymore. And if you listen to the pop and rock station, certain things are not being played on that station that are being played for our people, and we settle for it because we think it's okay. We don't fight for saying, hey, our kids shouldn't be privy to that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is, and that.
But I'm gonna tell you this,
Okay.
like, in the words one of my aunts, the world going to hell in a handbasket, because I have a habit of TV is kind of my thing. I don't get a lot of it during the fall. And since I've been in school, I really don't get a lot, but I like a lot of crime shows and stuff like that. And one of the shows that I like is what's the name of it? SEAL Team. That's one of the shows that I like. And the last couple of episodes, I noticed that they just be cussing, like F words, all this stuff. And I'm like, this regular TV, like regular, not cable, straight up regular TV. So we should be saying, hey, our kids shouldn't be listening to this. Hey, our station should be censored just like those. But when the regular TV is dropping F-bombs, it's a different world. Because I remember That's type of stuff that you had to go find special cable channels to hear them kind of words when I was young. Now I know that was some years ago, but I just see on CBS they just F-bombs. And this is multiple episodes. So now I'm finally like, well, what in the world is going on here? And now I know I'm getting old because when it happened, I was like, well, Lord, what was going on? Again, this week, we just
Touch my pearls.
Right, we just gonna keep dropping the F-bombs? Oh, okay, that's regular TV. I don't even know what to say. Like, I feel you, Luke, but we allow that kind of stuff. We're not pushing back on that kind of stuff. I could go so much further with this because you see all kinds of stuff on TV now.
But see that, but
everybody too free for me. Go back to being censored. I want to pick and choose what I see in the F-bombs. I use the F-bomb. I just don't know that I want to be sitting and watching TV on CBS and bam, there it is.
I mean, but and like I said, I know we going off the beaten path, but I mean, if that's all, I got 3 kids, so there's certain things that my kids just won't listen to. We don't watch, we don't do any of that. But it's frustrating because in my house every night we got what's called family night, and I'm always trying to find something new to watch. Dang, there every new thing with that's supposed to be geared to kids got some curse word somewhere in it,
or the cartoon inappropriate. Yeah. Inappropriate. Who picked this? Who wrote this for a child? It's a lie. I'm telling you, some of that stuff, I'd be like, why are they even dealing with these situations?
Yeah. So,
my bad. We just gotta go there. Or they have cartoons, and now for the politically correctness of inclusion, they making cartoons like giving them like pronouns and orientations.
What if I don't want to explain that to my 3-year-old yet? Why?
Because I believe now, and I may be wrong, it was like Peppa Pig is like they adding something to that. And it's like they're cartoon characters, bro. Like, it's crazy.
I mean, when I grew up, it was a face on Nick Jr. Okay, I don't know what the hell it was. It was a
face here.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We like face. We didn't know a face was a man, woman, boy, girl, unicorn. It was a face.
And frankly, wasn't thinking about it.
Right.
I wasn't trying to determine what it was.
And to this day, we still don't know what blue is.
Blue is a girl, but
that's what I'm saying about it.
I think blue is a girl, and I don't even watch Blue's Clues.
But I'm just saying, but if blue girl, who the pink one?
Magenta, she a girl.
So what I'm saying is like we ain't know.
No, we never thought about this stuff, and I feel like now it's just being forced. You gonna think about this as soon as you can think.
So
this is stupid.
So I know we done went way off topic, but I'm gonna address one thing, and I'm gonna try to slide it back where we was at. But I absolutely have to agree but disagree with you, brother Dotson, on this comment. And I had this conversation with someone not too long ago. The reality of the situation is there a possibility of us watching that? Yeah, there is a possibility. But here's the universal difference. We had to go and find it.
You had to work hard.
It wasn't just blatantly there in our face. Like people like to talk about, and hey, I was a watcher of this when I was in high school now.
Uncut.
BET Uncut. But you had to stay up for that. Like
you did. It was not at
not no 12, not no 1 o'clock. You got to be up like 3-4 in the morning.
And so I had to sneak.
Exactly. Even if we're talking about the music that we listen to, a lot of it was censored. Some of them you had to think about, they had to make a completely different version for the radio, and then you had to go and buy the CD to actually hear the real words that was on it. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think that it's still we're now at a point of truly settling, even when I'm not going to put that in there because that's everybody else's opinion. But that goes back into the question of, are we settling? Are we settling in our band rooms? Are we settling at the university level? Are we settling, in urban education for just having enough? We got it, so that's. But and then the question is, should we be fighting for what should be?
Absolutely. Because just like I felt like these schools making billions every football season of these college players, and they going back to their room and eating ramen, they should get paid. I'm sorry, for a school like Norfolk State, the Spartan Legion is the beacon, okay? And we should not be scrounging for scraps. And we are not the only program that is dealing with that. We should be fighting. We should be advocating. But I can say that because I don't work for them for real. I do, but I don't. Anthem pay my mortgage. So, it can be a little different when they control your paycheck. I guess you got to be politically correct. I do not.
She's staying on that too.
Y'all.
No, because I mean, if we being real, I mean, I do what I do because I love it, not because it's paying anything around here.
So y'all remember after
that's why Chris say Portia for president.
Y'all remember after Uncut, you had that dude that God
every time.
It was
watch all that scene.
What was the death comedy? What was the comedy one? They be cussing all the time. That was funny as hell to me, but I had to sneak. And if my parents heard it in there, my TV was gone for a week, baby. I had to sneak. You only got to work hard now. You just be looking at TV at 7:00 and F-bombs.
Yep. Yeah. You have to have a little channel 98. Little
channel you have
98 and 99.
And yeah, that's another thing. When we was growing up, used to be the high channels.
Right. You had to go start beep because you couldn't do it by God.
Then they got smart. I think when I was in like 10th grade, they started putting parental controls on the cable.
Yeah.
You had to work hard. I'm telling you.
You had to work for it. I got a problem. I got a problem now because my child and told me that one of her friends, and she in 5th grade now, one of her friends invited her to a birthday party that was Stranger Things themed. I'm like,
for a child?
Stranger Things?
Ooh, child. I plead the blood of Jesus, okay?
So, hey.
Justin said channel 52.
Channel 52, you know. I'm telling you, that's why we remember, because it was off the beaten path.
Look at here, the people trying to watch the channels with the screen going bad.
My mama came home one day.
Green screen.
And it went off so most of the channels would go off. Y'all remember that? Oh, I'm too old.
Oh yeah, no.
After a certain time, the channels would come to the snow screen. Play stuff all night long. But I'm gonna tell y'all a true story. One day, my mama had came home early. We had a half a day, and Drop Down and Get Your Eagle On had came out, and my friend had got the CD with the real words. So we had pulled up the video that was censored, by the way, and we was playing the real, and we was in that den going for broke. That's when I had good knees for the Spartan Legion. When I had good knees, and we was dropped down, we was dropping and popping, and my friend stood up. I was like, "Girl, what's wrong with you?" Girl, Wanda was standing in that doorway, honey.
Oh, Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Do God know you got them knees? Oh, that's what you do when I'm not home. Is that what you do when you go to them little parties? Woo, child, my friend left. She had drugged me in that house. Ooh, it was bad business.
We were bringing up bad memories for you on this.
Listen, don't you? Ooh, mama. Oh, I'm gonna call her and talk about that tomorrow. She had snapped in there.
Hey, Portia used to watch that channel, then hit recall on the channel she's supposed to watch.
You gotta have that channel set. You gotta have that channel.
What you watching?
As soon as you hear that door creak, yes sir. I'm in there watching
Nickelodeon. Loud, so we didn't hear the front door. We was in there, Drop Down and Get Your Eagle On, girl. Yeah, oh, child.
Nah, I never turned mine up loud. I used to have mine down low, and I used to have to be after bed because I couldn't. For a long time, my parents wouldn't even let me watch videos. Babe, I'm about to watch some 106 and Park, okay? I'm watching 106 and Park. Child, I used to be standing up in the middle of my room with the TV just so I can hear out the door. I need a clear air shot. Having heart palpitations, I might as well have had a heart attack just trying to watch the stuff in the first place. Just not good.
The work you had to do.
Exactly. Just for a little teensy bit.
Right. versus is they get it right in your face right now.
And it still wasn't the whole thing.
Man, look at here. All right, man. Let's we move so far. All right, man. Let's keep it going, man. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Obviously, this is the and more part. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like, daddy, man. Let's get these likes up. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionates Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for an Apple Podcast where you just type in Real Talk That Talk. All right. Here we go. So I got two different questions here and I want to know. Let's talk about the culture for a second. What does the phrase everybody eats look like in the culture? What does the phrase everybody eats look like in the culture?
We talking about band culture?
Yeah.
Black culture?
Both.
So I feel you, but I don't think that we undertake that notion, right? Because if everybody was eating, why we spending so much time combating each other and we can't have a conversation about nothing? Your band is bigger than my band. Did it, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got EQ staff marching on the squad, and just all types of hilarity. That's my new word. Everybody eats, everybody ain't eating. We is starving. You know what I'm saying? Because if that was the case, then we would have more respect for each other. We would be able to kind of get on one accord and help each other out. We wouldn't be having a conversation of what is healthy competition versus what is just outright ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether we're talking about work, whether we're talking about band culture, it's all the same. We too busy trying to one up everybody as opposed to sticking together and kind of figuring this out as a community and pushing black or black and black associated, black adjacent, whatever you want to say, I'm not sure, and pushing that forward as opposed to who's going to be the top gun. Maybe I'm thinking about it the wrong way, but that's just immediately what I went to. That crabs in a bucket that we talked about mentality. But yeah,
I like the way that the way you went is the way I was expecting you to go. But keep going. Or Quan, if you want to go ahead and give your piece. See, very good, Maya. See, look at you. You started out right. There you go. You ain't even have to think hard about it. You just went right in.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Nah. I agree with Maya. Ain't everybody's not eating. Everybody's not eating. Everybody is also not trying to share either, because we're definitely grafty for what we have. I do, like I say, I read that book a few months ago, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, and a lot of the things that we're still being affected by due to Eurocentric mindset we're still dealing with today. At the end of the day, everybody is not eating, because if that's the case, we would honestly be willing to come together to make a superpower conference in regards of HBCU so that we all truly could eat. Meaning, if you think about it, there's other cultures that literally, it's kind of like I bring a certain amount of money, you bring a certain amount of money, and then once you get to like the top of the pyramid or whatever, we gift you this money, and then we flip it back in, and then we rotate it again, and so that everybody can overall eat, right? It's not like that for the Black community. It's not like that for us at all when it comes to higher ed. It's not like that when it comes to secondary education. It's not like that. Truly, it is dog eat dog. It's like, I got it. And then the worst thing about it is when we say I got it, then we're showing it off in your face to be like, this is what you ain't got, which makes it worse. I mean, think about it. We're losing rappers in the Black community over chains. Like, think about it. We're losing people over chains, bro. We're losing people, and people are being murdered. Families are being taken away. Like, if you really just look over recent years, they killed Nipsey Hussle in his own neighborhood, and he trying to do what's right by the people. You know what I'm saying? Like when you start to think about that, how can we all eat? That's, and I hate to say it like this, we may not know we truly are God's people until He returns. Like that's because that's just like where we are, and that's the unfortunate thing. As an educator, you got to also realize too, a lot of these kids, they don't know that they're really impoverished. They just know, man, I'm trying to survive daily. That's their mindset. So I mean, what Harriet Tubman said, I mean, I wish I would have freed more slaves if they knew they were slaves. Some of us, real talk, have that same mindset too. And as educated Black people, we're trying to give other people the game of how we can eat together. But you got some people that be like, hey, bro, get it how you live. I got mine, you get yours. But that's not gonna make it better. Over the last week, we was all up on Dion talking about he ain't swag. But let's be honest. The type of marketing, the type of attention that he has brought to the swag honestly has improved it. The man has been at 2 years. This is the second campaign. And you telling me they already got a new stadium about to be built? So you telling me that man influence didn't do that? Come on, bro.
But that's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
He not swag. But what was the swag doing for you before he showed up?
Doing the same swag stuff. Like, think about it. It took Prairie View how many years to get a new stadium? I mean, like, I think everybody deserves that. Like, we still talking about dorm rooms at HBCUs. We're still talking about financial aid issues at HBCUs.
Band rooms.
Band buildings, music buildings. We're still talking about all of those things. How many years later? So how we all eating? We all, like, put like this. We know from the first comment, we know how to turn shit into sugar. That's what we know. We know how to take pig intestines and make them chitlins, a divine delicatessen in today's society. Now, I don't eat that. I don't eat it.
Never.
Not anymore. I did. I used to love them too, but now.
Oh my God.
Back in the day, man, I was young. Hey.
Nah, anyway. But like, that's just what we know. Honestly, we have a survivor's mentality. So a lot of the times when we end up making it, some of us try to go back, but again, a lot of people don't know that they're in that situation until you reveal it to them. And some people, they don't want to be revealed to. Some of these university presidents, they don't want to be revealed. But that's why you're going to start to see the rise of these smaller schools. For example, Wilberforce. Like Wilberforce ain't no school.
I meant to mention them earlier, but go ahead.
Wilberforce ain't gonna, in the next few years, if they keep pushing like they're pushing, they're not going to be a school you can play with.
We can definitely acknowledge them, but do y'all see that Legion influence? I do.
Oh yeah,
90% of their staff is Legion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they drumline is low-key $1 Million Funk Squad-esque.
Well, I don't know that that's somebody who's MD, but okay.
But I mean, but that style, I mean, but can I be honest? They fight.
He went to A&T.
Him
and the dance instructor both went to A&T.
They fight you though. But just bottom line, you're going to start seeing these smaller schools, because the smaller schools are going to be like, we need to do whatever we need to do to bring these kids here. So don't be surprised after a while, these large conglomerate band programs are going to start trickling down, because these smaller schools are going to be offering more money to them because they understand the benefit of a band program. Now, music department aspect, that's something completely and totally different. But band wise, I'm telling you, you're going to see these smaller schools start to swell up again. So, but we are not eating, bro.
Well, Portia, I guess that just leaves you.
I understand the concept. What it looks like is what the oldest Wayans brother, well, I can't think his name, did for his family. He put everybody on.
Keenan Ivory.
He put everybody on. But to Quan's point, that doesn't work in our culture, because they need to be willing to accept the help. The other part of this, and this is going to be probably an unpopular opinion, is that you can't take yourself down helping other people. I mean, if they're not willing to recognize it as help, if they're not willing to see their circumstances and see you as a resource, what can you do for them? You can't want more for people than they want for themselves. And for your example of Nipsey Hussle, he was trying to put on for the neighborhood, trying to better his life, and got killed in front of his own business. So even when you try to do better and stay in your neighborhood, that can backfire on you. So what do? Because then if you leave and don't look back, you're a sellout. But if you leave and you stay, you could get murdered by your own people.
Can I be real? I'm a move. I'm a move.
Exactly. But you know what I'm saying? So then you have people who develop in the words of Nipsey Hussle, everybody can't go mentality. And then it's, well, he forgot about us. But the question is, if I don't forget about you, are you going to hold me now? Or are you going to try to take me down because I didn't reach the level of success? So we're stuck in this cycle of you either sell out and you forget, or you stay here and put yourself in danger, or we don't appreciate it. And that's not okay. Like, we should be able to lift each other up. We should be able to pull each other along, but everybody's not going to appreciate that. Everybody's not going to want your help. And then there are some people that's going to try to take advantage of that help. Now, there are a group of people that are going to see that and take advantage of it, but how do you know? And that's sad. I don't know how we ended up here, because we should be able to stand on each other's shoulder to progress as a group. But that's not how we are as a people, and it's sad. I get the concept, but rarely do I see it work for our people. And that's sad.
I guess for me, like, what's sad about that as well, to your point, Portia, is it's usually never a person from the outside. It's always the person.
Always your own
people. Like, and people. I never forget, bro. My cousin from back home, he was going through something, and he posted a video clip from Birdman, and he says, as you matriculate through this life towards success, he said you have to know the difference between jealousy and envy. He said jealousy is people who are outside your circle, but envy is the person that's with you every day. Judas was envious of Jesus, and he kissed him. It'd be the people that be close to you that kiss you, that take it on. That's why your circle, when you doing something, your circle got to be so tight to where, like, you know them, you got to start picking his or her brain, to be like, hey, bro, are you really for me? Because the truth is, some people, they can't go with you.
Nope,
Jesus prayed. Jesus had his 12 disciples, but he had 3 real close ones. But every now and then, if you read the scriptures, he walked alone by himself even further, bro. Like, my thing is, when it comes to our culture, everybody can't go with us. We should take the ones with us, but it should not be detrimental to your calling that you have on your life. And like, that's just the reality of it, because everybody can't go with you with your calling. But I want everybody to eat. Let me say this. I want everybody to eat, but the truth is, everybody can't eat with us. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe they're going to eventually eat
with somebody else. Absolutely.
Exactly. Maybe that's the thing. I pray that you eat, bro. But maybe this my table, and these specific chairs are ordained for certain people that are going to make sure that we maintain our table, because we have a different type of table manners and table etiquette over here. Maybe that table is for you over there. I just look at it like that, bro.
So let me say this, and then it's gonna kind of make a lot more sense, and then I'm gonna ask a question. So where I came up with this this whole thought process for the night was the fact that I was watching I went back to our last episode talking about He Ain't Swag, looking at Coach Prime and rewatching the episode. But then one of the things that I realized is, when he got there, the football facility was not adequate.
Trash.
And he put money into it, found money, put the money into it to help build the resources in order for them to be better.
But he ain't swag.
But now you look at the team and the team's success rate with better resources. And so that is the thing that made me think about bringing this to the show tonight. And I'm going to tie it all the way back into what was said earlier about resources and about everybody eating. And someone brought up, I think it was you, Portia, band rooms, band halls, right? Listening to Crystal's show on last Sunday really brought me to a really interesting realization. I ain't seen too many music departments that look like Morgan's. And if you've ever been in Morgan's music department, pretty dope, to say the least. But I ain't seen too many HBCU music departments, let me put it that way, that look like that. Now I'm also gonna, be honest and say I haven't been into every single one. But the ones I have been in don't look like that. And so it makes me think, it brought this bigger thought process of, and this is where that everybody eats thing comes from. And you all kind of tackled it more or less the way that I hope that you all would tackled it or would tackle it, because the truth of the matter is I really don't even think that process or that thought process even really exists.
It sounds good.
It does. But so much so that, and maybe I'm reaching, and somebody tell me if I'm reaching. We idolize, specifically in the band community, we idolize certain band directors, older band directors, things of that nature. But we also realize that those older band directors gave tips and tricks to each other. They were friends. They communicated with one another, with one another. And as a whole, for the most part, I don't really see that amongst us now. And I find it interesting. You can get a lot of great pictures of when we play these other schools, but there's always great pictures with the band director and then the other band director from that school, and everybody's loving each other and everything else. But we don't get too many of those pictures with us. So it just goes back to that everybody eats mentality. Are we open for the idea of everybody eats, or are we just against each other at every turn? I got to crank up on them. I got to make them look bad. I got to outdo them. I got to embarrass them. I got to do that. I got to do that.
You say, Luke, not to cut you off, but one thing that would have been great what if, not saying that it had to be them, but because of their influence, what if Southern University would have when they saw the situation that happened to FAMU, if they would have been like, you know what, we're going to stand with them. Then other HBCU bands would have been like, you know what, that's wrong because that happened to us before. And literally be like, you know what, y'all, we're going to boycott until that never happens again. What if all HBCU bands was like, you know what, we're not playing another football game until we get our adequate music buildings? What if we stand in solidarity and say, you know what, we tired of all of these, performances, and we don't see $1 of it, or our budget can get cut by 60% and so forth and so on. So not being ugly, that's another example of everybody ain't eating. It's another example of that, bro. Like, the unfortunate thing is, to truly cause change, two things have to happen. Unfortunately, somebody is going to be the sacrificial lamb. That's number one. And number two, you have to affect change from a financial standpoint to truly bring forth change. That's the only way change happens. The only reason why we could sit in front of the bus now, due to that boycott, the bus boycott, was because they were tired of losing money. That was it. If them people still was making money hand over foot, we'll possibly be still either walking or still sitting in the back of the bus.
Well, ain't nobody going to be willing to mess up their check.
Right.
And
right. That's what I was going to say.
And that's the thing. That's the thing, bro.
That's the start and the end of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to say that everybody eat both, but you can't take none from my plate. You can't take none from my plate, or I'm not gonna give up my plate. But that's the notion of previous shows that we've had. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it just comes down to, yeah, we want to talk all we want to do about moving the culture forward, but nobody is truly willing to take that sacrifice or be without to be able to make that happen. And I mean, that's just it.
I mean, some schools might cut the music program. Some of them can't afford to.
Yeah.
Some of them can't afford to.
It's top money bringer.
Because then what do you have left? Because, I mean, depending on the program size, that's 200 plus students that you're losing, which is 200 plus tuition, 200 plus room and board, maybe. So some schools can't afford to do that. I'm going to tell you right now, if Norfolk State tried that, the way these people around here operate, it would probably be some kind of riot. So it just depends on the school.
All right. We are about to come up on our last topic. I'm going to pin the link in the chat so you can call in with us, get up here, talk that talk with us. All right. So let me do it the right way. I mess that up sometimes. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and type that like that. Tap. How do you type like? I mean, you can, but it's not gonna do nothing. Smash the like daddy. There we go. Smash that like daddy, man, for today's conversation. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionates Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasting networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. Last one, kind of along the lines of the last one. Something that I just was thinking about. And I've had this conversation with my wife a couple of times. Why do we pride ourselves on the getting it out of the mud culture? Why do we pride ourselves on the getting it out of the mud culture? Sorry, I had to retype it. Maya, since Quan is hiding.
I mean, my mind is going so many different ways. My immediate thought was, why do the people that's truly from Cedar Hill or what have you be claiming they truly from like the depths of the cliff, like Glendale Park, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's because it automatically assumes notoriety, or that you've been through something, or that you made it, or oh, you done got all this stuff off your back, you hard. It's just the ambiance of it all. It's loud, it's boisterous, it makes it appealing. Why is the loudest person in the comments the one that everybody like, whether they agree or disagree? It's all the same. It's all the same idea. We just like to feel as if we made it. You know what I'm saying? Because if I have a story, but what you didn't know is that, oh, I had to walk 15 miles to get to school. You know, like those stories that our parents told us, it made us seem like, ooh, you really had to go through something. Because even if we at the same spot, if we make it to the same spot in life, if mine was table fed, or if I had somebody that helped me do this, that, and the third, it's not as seen as amazing or as something that you really, really made happen if you're not getting it from the mud, if you're not starting from the bottom up. I think it's just what we've been trained to give energy to. It's just, I don't know. It's sad when we think about it, but I just think it's because that automatically mean like I upped somebody, I won, I did this, that, and the third, I beat this person, or can't nobody do it like me because I made something happen out of nothing. it makes it a lot more grand than it possibly is or could be.
Okay. Portia, why do we pride ourselves on the getting it out of the mud culture?
To my point, is validation. I gotta prove myself to you. You know, if I tell you that I got it this way, you're gonna respect me more, or you're going to hold me in a higher regard. You know, that's what it's about. You know, my struggle made me who I am. But to me, I mean, we glamorizing a struggle. That's not perseverance, and glamorizing a struggle are two different things. With my upbringing and the way I grew up, I got it out the mud. I don't ever want to do that again. So, you know, it's easy for people to try to glamorize that. That ain't fun. So, you know, it's weird to me, you know, but it's okay to want better for yourself. It's okay to not want to struggle. You know, like almost to the point where now when I say, you'll say out loud, I don't live paycheck to paycheck. People be like, excuse me. Isn't that the goal? Or is the goal to keep struggling? Because now we've glamorized this thing that ain't even, we shouldn't be glamorizing. So, you know, now the tables are flipped. If you say that you're doing well, you know, it's almost a cliche, or not cliche, a faux pas, or don't say that, you know, that's bragging. No, getting it out the mud ain't fun, so I don't want to do that. So I'm living like this, thank God. You know, like, I don't know, it's weird. The culture is flipped. Like, we want to be able to say, I guess because struggle gets praise. I don't want that kind of praise. It's a validation thing. It's, you know, I went through this, so I'm superior, or I'm legitimate. That's what it is. I'm legitimate because I did it this way, or because I had to go through this to get here. It's weird, but that's how we think as a culture.
All right, Quan, why do we pride ourselves on the getting it out of the mud culture?
It's a sense of narcissism, as well as it's a sense of kind of like a big flex, like this is what I did, you know, so to speak. When I never forget, I am from, you know, urban setting. I am from, you know, some would say a hood. And I'll never forget, like when I was younger and we used to be entertained by that mentality. I never forget, like, this dude that unfortunately he's no longer with us, but he was a real stepper. And he was like, bro, thugs don't want to be thugs. He was like, why y'all playing like one? Like, if we could go back and turn the hands of time and really go to school and do what you're supposed to do, like, we would do it. Like, we don't want to. And like, he was explaining, like, he was older in the neighborhood and he was explaining to us younger, like we were, you know, preteens and whatnot. He was like, bro, I've, you know, sat down for 10 years and, you know, had my freedom taken away and, you know, so forth and so on. He was like, that ain't nothing to brag about. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, when we go back to and speak about settling in the culture, I mean, we're guilty of it. Let's be honest. Every single person of us listen to a form of rap music of some sort. We may not be on it hard, but the truth is, man, that's what's glorified at this point. That's what's glorified. Money, women, death. To the point now where we're just to the point where we're glorifying legitimately death. And we don't get that. So, I mean, at the bottom line, bro, what we have to start doing now is, now that we're enlightened, we need to go back and reach as many people as we can to educate them that we can always do better. That's it.
So, what you said, Quan, kind of took me back to the previous thing about the settling versus for fighting for what we should be, or what should be. But here's another thought, really quick. One of the most recent getting it out the mud phrases that I connect the two, he ain't swag. And I know we brought it up on multiple occasions about what Prime has done for Jackson State and putting Jackson State on the map, what he did for those kids there in that combine. But because he ain't get it out the mud like I did, he ain't swag, so it don't matter. Or he can't do certain things because he ain't swag, he ain't get it out the mud. I attribute those two phrases together. So that's the first thing. But the other half of that is this, and it's kind of going off of what all of you guys were saying. We can talk about, and I've had this conversation before, not with you guys, but we can talk about what everybody else does in order to be successful. Culturally, we know their whole story. Logistically, we know their whole story, between generational wealth and, or they all pull together and pool their resources to do X, Y, and Z. But then we have to glorify the get it out the mud culture. And we don't do a great job of following the footprint of what we see other people doing. Why is that? Does anybody know why is that?
I'm sorry, I missed the ladder. I had a package. Could you repeat that, please?
Which part did you miss? And I'll go back and restate it.
Probably the last point that you made.
It's just so terrible. Anyway, what I was saying was, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is we can spout off everything that somebody else does to be successful. We can talk about generational wealth. We can talk about passing down, funds to the next person in line, or we can talk about how other cultures pool their resources together, or other sources have their own communities and do X, Y, and Z, and they work together to do this, and so on and so forth. Even especially when we start talking about in the music community, when you start talking to, or you start looking at these university programs, you don't see, and I'm just going to use these two as a example. You don't see Texas Tech. I mean, they're rivals, but you don't see Texas Tech rivaling like UT. Like, you will have a UT person come in to Tech and do a clinician, or just have meetings with one another, or just converse with one another to continue to pool resources and build and help one another, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So we have all of these examples of what it looks like to help one another and be successful, but yet we glorify the getting it out of the mud culture. Well, I got here, so since I did it, you can do it. You go ahead and you got it. So why do we have to do it that way? Why do we do it that way?
That's a good question. My thought is, where did it stem from? Like, where does it come from? Because I think we're just progressing with what we've been learned or taught, or are ignorant to, or when we are ignorant to the ability to make that change possible and to actually bring it to fruition and facilitate that. I think that's the difference there. So when you ask that question, I don't have the answer to it, because I want to know, well, how did we get here? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we get like this? Why are we like this? Does it come from something? And are we perpetuating that forward by not actively changing it?
It's because long ago, We lost our communities and therefore the sense of community. I hear my mom and them talk about all the time, like what they would do as a neighborhood.
Mm.
I don't even know my neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in knowing my neighbors. That's probably not right. But it's that sense of community. When we had our own communities and we looked out for one another. And so I used to hear my dad say, and my dad is from Mississippi, Wiggins, Mississippi, actually, that segregation was not good. Desegregation was not good for us.
I agree.
And I just, when he used to say that, before I became like really educated and like really did my research and looked at this thing, I used to be like, what are you talking about? And he was like, how we held each other up, looked out for one another, held each other accountable. We're actually a community because we wanted to be and not because we lived in proximity to one another. That was lost in this process. And that led to disconnect. And it led to, I'm going to focus on me and my family and getting us in a better place. And I can't really worry about you because I got to worry about us. So to me, yeah, it's our sense of community is lost. And that's physical and emotional. And they still feel a sense of community. They still feel a sense of, I don't go to your school, but we're the same type. Community can be anything. Us as HBCUs we should see each other as a community, and you can have a healthy rivalry and still be willing to look out for one another, still be willing to offer. Like, anybody could hit me up about flag. You don't have to twirl like the Silkettes. I'm not going to say, oh, guess who reached out to me? That's between me and you. You need to know something. That's why I'm serious about that. I mean, your squad not doing what my squad is doing. And if I can help somebody out, if somebody want to give me some advice, come on. Because everybody's not against one another. That's why it bothers me, this whole Dion isn't SWAC. But is he helping bring positive light to our universities? Is he putting together combines? Is he adding value to these students' lives and to HBCUs in general? Yes, he is. Because how many other famous people, NFL football players have followed him already? And look at how many more will, because of what he's able to do there. This is an opportunity for us. But we can't see that right now because he beasting. Now, my thing is he beasting, or you just not doing as good as you should be? Maybe you should hit him up. Like, what can you give me some techniques? Can you help me? How can I get better? How can I foster these students? There's no sense of community. To look to your point, the band directors don't talk. Everybody, you worry about your program, I worry about mine. But is that what's good for the culture? For our community? Is it?
Oh, my mind is everywhere.
There's so many ways you can take this.
Because, yeah. And so, like, okay. Maybe this is I don't know if this is devil's advocate or whatnot, but it brings me back to, you spoke about the loss of community, right? But was that loss of community due to potentially, we like to say all day that we don't care about, how they feel. But we split our wigs trying to hold ourselves like this, or at least, within the realm of. So is it that we had to fight tooth and nail to be the token Black person, or one who can be perceived as the I'm sorry, y'all, my mind This is deep. I can't even finish my thought because them folks in my head, they are all going off right now. Oh, I have mercy.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, let them use you. Let them use
There's something wrong with it depending on who you ask.
you.
Here you go. In these comments.
What happened? Oh, we're cranking his
That
mic.
ain't got nothing to do with this. Here you go.
I mean, you know, you can only expect. I mean, he still got to explain why he lied to you. He lied to you. All right, so let's go ahead and bring him in.
Oh, thank you, Rodney. I'm sorry, I just read this comment. That is so very nice. We're gonna have to talk offline. Thank you so much.
Who you and brother Childish?
I was reading the comment and responding. I just saw it.
Yeah, it's been you were deep.
Has it been there? Remember, I had a package.
No, it was after the package.
Oh, them folks was talking in my head, and I was
you had about 15 comments going on in your brain. No, you good. But let's go ahead and bring Justin in, man. All right, here we go. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna allow Justin to explain his whereabouts first, and then we're gonna get into it. All right.
Hey y'all. But no, hey man, listen, I had every intention on coming to homecoming portrait. But like I'll tell y'all offline, and I can show you offline the reason why I didn't come. Y'all gonna be like, what the hell? Just know it's deep, and I had to change my whole schedule, like the whole of what I'm doing. It's like real deep. And I'll show you too, Luke. I think it's so deep you might even want to make a topic out of it. You know what I'm saying? So there's a reason why I didn't come to homecoming. I had to change my schedule, and I'm like, okay, it's too late to really get tickets set right over the street. I'm gonna go to Southern game. So that's what it is. But I promise y'all, I would not. It's literally. It's so deep that I want to say something, but if I say something about it, like it's gonna start like a wildfire in the bad world. But anyway, next subject. Whatever. I'm sorry. I'm also mad I missed this damn Missy Elliott thing. I said, wait a minute, hold on. You mean to tell me I would have got a chance to see them before the Missy? I'd have been in that rain recording my ass off. You know what I'm saying?
Missy was there, Timbaland was there, Trey Songz was there, Pusha T was there. Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah, I saw Pusha. I didn't know Timbo was there.
Yeah, he came in and gave a speech and all of that. He was there. Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I was drove and I seen it. I said, God damn. Yeah, but
you missed a good one.
Yeah, I did. You missed a good one too. He's like, I missed it myself.
But I was prepared. I prepared myself to miss that good one though. I knew it was gonna happen. So
I didn't prepare myself at all for this information. But nevertheless, moving forward, there's some good topics. Dan, listen, I got my notes right here. I'm gonna go breeze through them real quick. Stop when you want to. First one, do resources determine the level of band success? I'm gonna flat out say no, because oftentimes we see bands with, like how Portia say, make a miracle. They're making a miracle. I wouldn't know that y'all don't have as many resources or whatever it is. Y'all just make it work. Versus you can count multiple bands that have the resources and don't do half the job y'all do. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like where I come from. We always made nothing out of something. You know what I'm saying? Without the resources. So I can't even say the resources. Some people have resources and lazy. You know what I'm saying? I know bands to this day playing on broken horns, and you wouldn't even know that. That's a problem that they have. So with that statement alone, I'm gonna say I don't think resources, determine a band's success. But if they had them, we'll see could they do better. The next one was how we settle for instead of what should be. How we settle for, I might have typed it wrong. What is or what should be? That was the question.
Yeah. Have we settled for what is instead of fighting for what it should be?
I wanted to play devil advocate, and I wanted to say, what if what should be is actually what is right now? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I looked at it from a different standpoint, because sometimes everybody moves the needle about what's hot and what's not. You know what I'm saying? So like if these people over here think that this hot and they think that this is what it should be, can you tell them that they're wrong? You know what I'm saying? Versus as what we say, what should be based off of the way it used to be. A lot of times people get caught on what it used to be and saying what it should be. And I think times change. So I just wanted to say that on that. On I'll pick it with that. What it was. What does the phrase "everybody eats" look like in band culture? HBCU culture, not just band culture. I was on a podcast 2 days ago, and people say they want everybody to eat when that's not even the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if somebody's doing better than you, they're gonna find some kind of way to either demean it or find something wrong about it. Like this whole HBCU Dion thing, y'all just brought it up. I was telling somebody that all these businesses started to say HBCU this, HBCU that. You know what I'm saying? No shots to Disney. Disney just had an HBCU week. You know what I'm saying? I personally feel like it's BS across the board because people don't really care about HBCU. They really just care about swagging me up for real, for real. When you look at everything that's popping up, because there's a whole lane on D2 everything, the Kentucky States, the Miles colleges that nobody really talk about. You know what I'm saying? That even from the sports channel, even to the band, that we don't really talk about. This weekend, everybody talking about Texas Southern and Jackson homecoming. Let Miles and Kentucky State have a game, and nobody not really even talking about it because it's not really the bigger HBCU. You know what I'm saying? So that everybody eats in the band culture, and I'm gonna say HBCU culture, I'm gonna say it's a little flawed. I think what's popular was popular eats, and when you start looking at everything from a retrospect,
The
everybody
ain't popular.
man, listen, compared to no, I don't want to do that. But compared to the smaller conferences, yes, it is popular, and in sports because Celebration Bowl, what's that? The best of the who versus the best of the who. You feel me going with that? You know what I'm saying? I watched the HBCU and not just bad, but it's not everybody in a sense because, that's just how I look at it. Everybody don't eat what's popular eats. That's how I can change that for me. You over there smirking, Luke. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there you go. And
I'm just listening.
the last one I got was I skipped the other question, but do we pride ourselves on getting out the mud? As a person who got out the mud their whole life, one of y'all said something about the college. About the dude in the hood who don't want to be the gangster. I think Quan said that. That's real. It just sounds better. You know what I'm saying? Even from the music you listen to, got it out the mud. It just sounds like you've been through something versus the kid with the silver spoon. You know what I'm saying? Like me, kid ain't grew up in Haddon. And I wish I did had the resources or the silver spoon some of the kids across town had. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if I did it with nothing, imagine what I could do with a little help. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where my next meal coming from. You know what I'm saying? It sounds cool. Oh yeah, he thugged it out. You know what I'm saying? From getting girls to having popular status, it just looks and sounds better. And I don't think that's crazy to me now that I'm older and I understand more because I was one to say, get it out the mud because I really did it. But ask me, did I want to do it? You mean to tell me, listen, when I seen Hampton for the first time, I said, wait a minute. It looked that nice for real, for real? You know what I'm saying? Like, versus everything I'm seeing down here, like, get it out the way. Okay, I know who's going to that got up the street. I go to soon, you know what I'm saying? I don't have enough money to travel across the world because this is me getting out the mud. But if I had the resource to go see other schools and to see the world, I wouldn't be saying that. It just sounds cooler, but that's my spiel on everything.
All right. So I want to backtrack for a second. I don't want to misquote you. So could you go back and just restate what you said about talking about what is versus what used to be? Just so that when I think about my thought, I can respond the right way.
I'm saying basically, so the question said, have we settled for what is instead of fighting for what used to be? One can look at it as that what is right now is what's best, basically. You know what I'm saying? What's right. Versus like I guess old school, new school. Old school feel like, what they used to do in the past used to be right. You know what I'm saying? New school feel like what we doing, we change this right. Now, vice versa, that's the argument. Some people feel like what is what is for a reason versus what used to be is what used to be for a reason. So there's a fine line you could draw on. I'll play double advocate. I make it feel like what used to be ain't it. So why should we be fighting for? Because what is what's hot. So that's my thing on that.
Okay.
I don't know that we were thinking about it from that perspective.
I wasn't. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't. But I mean, just to reply to that, I will say this. I think what is, if we're only speaking directly from what we see in front of us and what we have now, I think, unfortunately, and I'm only going to talk from a band perspective, I think a lot of what is kind of misguided. And I think that in this particular realm, sticking or going back to what used to be, in some aspects, not all, right? Let's be clear here. In some aspects, but I think going back and referencing what used to be, I think will create more diversity in what is being presented today. And I think, in my opinion, that also means that you're not settling, right? Because if you just go for what is in this particular moment and people are, like I said, in my personal opinion, are misguided, that means you're just settling for whatever information is given to you. And you're like, oh, well, this is what it is. So, we're just going to settle for it and just make it, blah, blah, blah. Versus saying, you know what, I'm going to go and research and I'm going to go and fight and I'm going to see what it should look like and what it should be. And then, I can more or less create a better product versus settling on what the product or whatever I feel was hot. That kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning of the joint, right? Like, I can't tell if I close my eyes and you put five bands, and once again, this is not to demean or put anybody down. I gotta always put that, because I don't want people to be like, man, he just hating. No, I'm not hating. This is a different perspective. But if I put Southern, Alcorn, I'll throw Jackson in there. TSU, Texas Southern, not Tennessee State. And I'll throw a wild card out there. Maybe even Kentucky. Oh, okay, Miles. If I put them out there and I close my eyes, heck, even Grambling this year, really, real talk. So if I put all of them in one room and I close my eyes and I say, everybody play a song, would I be able to tell them apart?
I would. It's no burner, but I would. But I feel where you're going with it, though. I definitely
see. I think you're basing that on volume status alone, right? Because
no, I won't. Because every one of those bands have different. First of all, I hear Quint. I know it's not Southern. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not. We're gonna have a Quint, so you move out the way. Then you also can go on the tuba dominance. But this year, Grambling living like that. So
exactly, but that's my point. Like, arranging styles, approach to music, like all of them for the most part are similar. I mean, in my personal opinion, you're breaking down certain instrument sections, but I'm just talking about generally speaking. That's what I mean by that. And I think that in a lot of ways, we're just kind of settling for what is, instead of going back and doing the research and saying, okay, this is what it used to be. How can we incorporate what used to be into what we're doing now to create something different? And
I wasn't even thinking like that. I wasn't like, I took it so left, but I feel it exactly what you said. I guess I'm gonna still say that, because I know a lot of times, bro, because everybody didn't complain about it. You know what I'm saying? Their program is something that you don't like about your program, and they're still doing that. Why are we still doing that in 2022? You know what I'm saying? Technically, that what used to be. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna always feel like you got to spike it up some kind of way. But I do agree that some of the things that used to be was done for a reason, and we wouldn't have gotten here if we didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we're not maintaining the way bands used to maintain, because we ain't doing what bands used to maintain. I'm never going to like say one without the other. So I see it from both sides too. I was I guess playing advocate or whatever, but I do see both sides of it. But I'm always say sometimes some things is the way they are for a reason. Now that style, Luke, which is a question. Some people with some programs, speaking of band, some program style was just boring. You don't think that's why they I guess either lost a match or battle the band, and you just thought they're just outright boring. They sound good, they're playing musically, they're playing everything by the book. Is just they're boring. You ever had a situation like that? I can name a bunch of programs I think that way.
But I mean, here's the thing: a lot of people say Norfolk boring, and been saying it for years. Even the years that I'm on.
A lot of people live. Man, come on, what conference they come from? They boring? I ain't never heard that about Norfolk. Never.
A lot of people say that.
A lot of people say Norfolk boring. But a lot of people will continuously say Norfolk got a style all they own. And you know, if you hear Norfolk, it's Norfolk. You know it without a shadow of a doubt. And we don't got to be playing Behold for it to happen. You just know it. It's like Bethune. Everybody says Bethune is boring. Tell me one person who ain't said Bethune is boring. But you know what you can't take away from them? Their originality. At the end of the day, they're gonna be Bethune.
Grambling too. Grambling. But with Grambling, I don't know. This year, Grambling is just
this year. Grambling is different.
They trip, but I like it though. It's like they still gonna give you the kick. They ain't gonna change that big old bass drum they got on the 50-yard line. So they still got their style. They just add a little different flavor to it. So you can't say that about Grambling, but Norfolk being boring.
I will say Grambling from a field show perspective is they haven't changed. That's not gonna change. So from that perspective, I will give them to now in the stands. You know, I think they changed. Yeah, but I mean, I can go so far as A&T. Even though A&T ain't the same A&T that I remember marching against, it's different. It's different, and people are recognizing whether they like them or not for being different. So, I mean, that's just.
I think people would say, "No, I ain't gonna say that. I'm moving to the game on the fifth and see what the outcome." But if we had two between Norfolk or A&T, in the ghetto. Name one. You know what I'm saying? I heard A&T this year didn't work. They sound good, but when you talk about boring, I guess it's just a matter of where you from, because they can say the whole conference over. Everything on the East Coast is technically boring if it ain't cranked up. But when you hear like y'all, when y'all was on them horns, man, listen, I look at that Mardi Gras clip the other day. What? Stop, come on, man. Like y'all get seen enough too. So I guess that's another thing too. All we see is maybe the older stuff, but like, you know, when a viral video do go, like I was telling Portia, today I'm looking at actually paying attention to them flags. I'm like, wait, they ain't no walking the punk. I'm looking at these dudes like twist. I'm like, oh, yeah. So it's just a matter of you have to be open to pay attention to it. And another thing too, Luke, we got to start. I'm a hold up. Who are you person? You know what I'm saying? Because depending on who's saying it, were you born in the band, or like you just watched for that band because that band have a legacy of cranking or being that good, or you probably were just a horn in the band? That's a lot of times it goes back to the other conversation. I'm a dizzy. Like the dude he had on here last week, you know what I'm saying? I like him. What he said, take no prisoners. Give me him. I need him out that band. Hey, him? Oh, yeah.
Who was on here last week?
Yeah, you missed it, Portia. Custom.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah.
I need him. You see him? That mentality? What? And he's from New York, so I mean, they ain't cranking in New York. He came to Norfolk. He learned something. He just adapted that style. Boy, give me him. So I don't know. It's a matter of who it is. You know what I'm saying? He come in the room and talk. He put down on me. He in the building. So it depends on who's saying it and what. But that boy had a militant, I'm a dog mentality, and I rolled with it. But you would know he in the band like Norfolk.
If you know Cuss, that's Cuss. That's who he is all day. He been that
in
way.
Norfolk band though. If you don't give him a shot, he was in Norfolk band.
But I tell you that all the time. I tell you, the people who are y'all think that we were just some old pity pat people. That's just not who we are. You cannot use my demeanor, because the other part about that, there's another side of me that I just don't always let out. But you cannot allow the demeanor that you see now to be, or even what you see on the outside of looking at Norfolk, to be the determining factor that we just promote. That's how I'm gonna leave it at that.
Let me be clear. When I say it, I don't say it as in you individuals are soft. We talking about the thing as a whole. I some hard, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that make up, but the presence or the persona, the personality of the band itself, when perceived by the quote unquote swag, is like it's not as aggressive as we have deemed the persons in the swag. Now, I get it, especially getting to know you both individually. So I feel you. However, I just want to clear up. It's not the individuals. It's the total.
I'm gonna tell you, I was kind of calm for the Silks. Them joints back in the day was something different.
Ooh. You talking about the old Silks?
Hell yeah.
I will tell the story. My freshman year, I can't remember. I think her name was Ebony. That's all I remember. That's all I remember. That's the first female beside my mama I was ever scared of. And when I tell you she was the Silk captain, and she told me about how I messed up them poles because I ain't wrapped them poles. Boy, she went off on me so bad, and she gave me this look that I was like, oh, no, I'm good.
Nope. They was like nuts.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
Ruthless. The band, I put it this way, and then we gotta get ready to close out. But I hung with Custom dang near the latter part of my years in undergrad. And Custom would always tell me the stories about the years that he marched. They fought every game.
Yeah.
Every game.
Yep.
Literally.
And anybody could get it. They ain't care
anybody.
Who it was.
And we tell y'all the story about them Spartan guards. Okay.
Spartan guards. Seeing them take big grown men down.
Matter of fact, that Virginia State fight that happened, was it 2017? 2018? That was started by a Spartan guard, and it really wasn't that big of a deal when you really watch it as far as what the percussion dude did. But when you see that little dude, because he was a little dude, when you see that little dude run over in less than 1 second, he was not playing no games.
I don't promote violence, but all I'm gonna say is ask A&T about the Spartan guards.
And on that note, Justin, my brother,
I know that has to suck for y'all. Like, like how Maya said, is the perception of the whole thing is like they saw the whole time they got some gangsters in that band.
It didn't suck for me. It didn't matter to me. Let me tell you something. When we walked into that Honda, we wanted it with everybody.
Listen,
we wanted to smoke with everybody.
If you remember,
we carried it like that.
If you remember what Cuss said last week, when he said, and I'm not gonna cuss because I'm really trying my best to slow down on cussing. But when he said we didn't give it right, we didn't give a F who you were.
Nope.
We were very serious. He's very serious about that. That's why we didn't think about the stuff that y'all say now about the Legion that we were in, or y'all like, man, we
oblivious.
We didn't even know it existed.
We wanted it with everybody. When we got to that Honda and they was talking that to us,
bruh,
we was like, all right, holla at us. Come on. This the kind of shit I like. Come on. That was our mentality. I ain't worried about none of that because ain't none of y'all gonna see us tomorrow.
Like we always said, we didn't care if it was Poonduck Middle School across the field.
We was gonna blow on them. We was gonna show them who we are. We gonna show up in Legion. That's what we gonna do. So that you talking, we not worried about that. And at that Honda, like I said, them flags from that school was in front of us twirling, and we was there first. My section leader said, "I'm not moving," and they kept twirling. And she said, "If you hit me, it's gonna be a problem." And I already knew what that would be. And that Portia was T2G. She was trained to go. Doc would have been mad, but we would have shut that whole dome down.
Malik,
that's how we were.
Malik, I don't think that was 03. Are you talking about when we were marching back? Because if you're talking about when we was marching back, no, that wasn't 03. That was 05.
That was 05 from FAM.
Yeah.
And the band was marching, and all you heard was clank, 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 clank.
Oh yeah, all right.
Drums and cymbals and was being put down.
Without question. So I think that was 05 that you
That
talked
was
about.
05 at FAM.
That wasn't 03.
But what I'm saying is a video out there on YouTube. I don't promote violence. But A&T tried it in 2017 and got cleared out by one Spartan guard.
I gotta find that video. I didn't know
I
about
mean,
I was very unaware of this one. But man, Justin, man, appreciate you as always, brother. You know, you always bring another energy to this thing, and also another thought process that we get a chance to actually dive into, man.
Yeah, because I ain't never thought we were soft. I ain't really care. I don't really care, but that's interesting. Ooh, child, I'm glad the crazies was inside the asylum and ain't nobody know.
You've been touched by angels. but yeah, man. But all right, y'all. Nice, definitely talking to y'all. It's homecoming week, you know. And yeah, I don't know who I deal with to put all these down.
Who y'all play this week?
Nobody. Rachel and Lynchburg. I'm going to all homecoming. They play Texas Southern. So
okay, yeah. All right. Well, all right then, brother. Well, I'll be watching your videos then.
all right, man. Holla, man.
All right, bro. Why did I mute my mic when he cut out? That was not what I was supposed to do. Anyway, man, this has been a good show. Somebody said Tropic Thunder. That is my show, my movie, man. Oh my gosh. I made a mistake on here. This is not episode 54. This is episode 55. So my bad on that. Hey man, I was typing quick. Anyway, man, we got to get ready to get on out of here, man. This has been a super, 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 super deep and great episode, man. I feel the conversation definitely needed to be had, and guess what? We had it. So on that note, yeah, Malik, it definitely wasn't a
not fight a baby.
We would.
Yeah.
No, we wouldn't fight the baby. We fight the baby parent though.
Yeah.
We make sure the parent wasn't holding the baby.
Right.
Yeah. So there's limitations to that part. But let's go ahead and get on out of here. Let's do it the right way. Oh Lord. Who's playing right now? I know that's random. Isn't Dallas playing right now? The Mavericks? I know that's random.
I don't know.
I know Rockets in Atlanta just got finished. Anyway, Maya, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
No, I don't really know. Just I'm glad that we're all back, right? We all were able to have a show with the four of us.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that. I missed the whole gang together.
I'm telling you, practice this band life is child.
Shout out to Brother Moore, by the way. He caught us live. I wanted to make sure I shout him out. I gotta get him every single time. Man, I gotta tell him every time. Brother Moore watches every single video. If he missed it, he going back and watching it. He's commenting on it. He didn't commented on Crystal show. He didn't commented on y'all show. He commented on this show. He go back and watch it. So shout out to Brother Moore. And happy homecoming to you as well. This is Southern's homecoming week. Portia, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
And we don't promote violence. That's never the answer. Thank God for growth. How about that? Progress. You're gonna be at Howland Springs. I won't be there. I'll be out of town. Yeah, but we gotta stop settling. Like now that I thought about that with this topic, I guess we would have to find a politically correct way to do it, but we need to advocate for ourselves on all levels, collegiate level, in education, in all levels. We have to stop settling when we bring real value to the students, to the community, and the school. We gotta fight for what we deserve. And it won't be easy, but we have to do it, because if we don't, we'll continue to get what we always got. And the question is that what we really want?
All right. Bet. So first thing I'm gonna say, man, is shout out to our new subscribers, man. We had a couple of new subscribers come through. So man, shout out to you guys. If you're not watching us live, it's okay, because you can go back and you can watch it. And when you watch it, click the like button. It's okay. Also, please make sure you share this information out, share this episode out. We will have, as normal, have clips going up all week. So you can make sure that you can go back and check those clips out from any of the past episodes that we have. I think the clips that are out now is the episode on mental health with brother Deontay Broussard. So check those out. Also, please make sure you can go, or please go by the store and check us out at www.realtalkthattalk.com, and you can pick up some merchandise from there. Just use the code HBCUBAND and you can get 30% off of your purchase. Also, please make sure you check out the US bands. Go to usbands.org to figure out when that last Battle of the Bands will be. I know it's going to be in November. I think it's November 5th or November 6th, somewhere around there. But make sure you check that out, man. Also, I just want to say thank you to everybody who was checking us out today. You guys are super dope. This episode was great. Check out the Patreon. You can look inside of the description of this episode and check out the Patreon. Oh, tomorrow, yay! The ladies are back and in full form. Tomorrow, the feature will be going down. I know Maya is super excited. She's been calling me every day, like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get back." I'm just lying my butt off on that one, but no, the show will be back tomorrow. So check out the feature. Also, Dive Related Band Director will be with us on Sunday, and we do have another show, but I'm waiting to get some more information on that. Other than that, man, this has been a great episode, man. You guys, I appreciate you for hanging on this long. It's been 2 hours and 18 minutes, and I ain't gonna keep you no longer. You all have a great night.